This
That's awesome.
morning, I had a meeting with the staff, every single employee, and I saw some of the persons who were participating in training sessions from your entity.
Oh,
They were looking at me and smiling. So I asked them, why were you smiling? So when I was talking, they were like, I see the training is paying off. Because I timed it. I was very straightforward. I got to the point, but of course, it was a little overboard because staff had a lot of questions, and the questions, they're mostly from the new recruits, so they were just trying to get an understanding of it had a lot to do with policies and procedures, and of course their year-end package. So
yeah.
I shared that at the end. So I was telling them, I give them a little talk on PEP, productivity, efficiency, profitability, and how it would affect us if we fail to do these things, if we fail to be productive, if we fail to be efficient, and we're not profitable, and how it would impact us at the end of the year. So I think I sent the message that I sent there. You could have seen the expression on their faces, like they were like, oh, they learned something there. So I normally would, when I have very general meetings, I would teach something that I know so they can understand when we make decisions, or when they, help them to be more responsible in their own way, to hold themselves accountable for what they're supposed to do, and also to let them know how important their contribution is at the same time.
Good,
So
good.
I got that.
That's leadership right there. Congrats, that's leadership. I like
Thank
that.
you.
I like that.
I got the message over this morning, and I would tell you something, Mr. Shine. Something that I've learned over the years is that I can be a bit, I was considered like a dictator type of manager in the beginning, because I had experience. It was just dumped on me then. But after attending your training last year, it really opened my eye, and it opened me. I opened myself up to learning more about leadership. That I not only listen to I have one of your YouTube videos I'm looking at right now. I was looking at it earlier. I was listening to it. I listen to other leadership materials.
Yes,
And
awesome.
I take from it, but yours is a little bit more distinct. It's more detailed. It tells you exactly where you're lapsing in the sense of being responsible for yourself. That is something I also mentioned this morning. I said, instead of us blaming each other for not, I blame this one, or you blame that one, or we blame one another for our unproductive, or for our lack of responsibility. Assess yourself. Am I doing this right? I told them I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't do
Consistently.
everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I tell them they need to be consistent in their practices. You don't do it now because I tell you, but you be consistent with your practices, and trust me, it will become part of your subconscious, that it becomes very easy.
Yeah.
You won't feel like, oh, I have to do this, it's burdensome.
Yeah.
Automatically, that it becomes part of you. I teach them that, and they're like in awe. Like they're some of them, they're taking it in, and I can see them practicing it too, and they teach each other.
Yeah, that's the part right there. If you can explain that piece you just said, and I find myself talking about that often, but it is, once you just know it, it becomes part of your subconscious. It's not that you have to apply this consistent effort. It just becomes part of what you do then.
Right.
It's in your subconscious. Comes out. I say you've got it at the cellular level, and that's what really happens, because your brain creates this whole new neural pathway, and it's at the cellular level, and that's where the results really start to to really be shown and constructed. You can very much see them and you see the results of other people. It's fantastic.
You know, my son was asking me to print some of the materials so he can understand the communication technique. He can
Sure.
understand, you know, so he's just 14, he'll be 15 this year. He
Oh,
thinks
wow.
he doesn't have a child mindset. He's got a mature mindset. And
That's
I
good.
like that about him. He of course he's undecided of the exact path he's going in terms of a career choice, but he's already decided in some way the road he want to take, the lifestyle he wants to live. So I'm teaching him things about reprogramming his subconscious. So things
Yeah.
that he's burdensome to. And he's got that like this.
That's
And I
good. That's so
yes,
good. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. That's good. We
yes,
need more strong male leaders too in that sense. So thank you very much for contributing to our society in that way. That's fantastic.
of course. I teach whoever I can what I
Men and
learned.
women, yeah, men and women. I don't want to, but I'm saying because of your son, but definitely need more strong guys out there for sure.
So it doesn't, and I see that societies fails because people take things as burdens. Oh, I've got to do this. Oh my God, I gotta go do that. So it becomes such a weight on you. But
Correct.
what I do, I program myself as this is what my day is going to be like. And what I found is that when I'm at work, I used to go home and open my computer and I'm going to be doing work and I'm going to be so exhausted. But what I find now is that I'm able to streamline work better, that when I go home, I have time for home.
Yes.
Once in a while, I'll go get something else done. But now I'm able to pay attention to everything have time. Everything,
Yes.
there's a timeline for everything.
That's
There's
good.
times for
That
everything.
balance, huh? That
Yes.
work-life balance. Yes. Good.
Oh, yes. And
That's
I'm
good.
waking much more earlier in the morning. Now I wake like 4 or 5 in the morning. I read some material. I have lots of reading I do now. And I do read, but I used to it used to feel burnt. Oh my God, I've got to go read this. But now I enjoy it because sometimes I would read one sentence a couple of times just to understand it. Instead
Yeah.
of watching movies, I watch documentaries
Yeah.
a lot. And my husband's like, he's seeing this difference. He's surprised that I'm taking, I'm
That's
operating a
awesome.
bit differently,
So awesome.
but he's proud, I would say.
That's so awesome. That's good. That's good. It's
Yeah.
really fantastic when not only you see this, but everyone else around you sees a difference in you. Your husband sees a difference. People at work sees a difference. That's when you know you're growing. So congratulations to you. That's awesome. That's what I love to hear. That's what makes my job every day that I do this so worthy. So hearing you say that makes it so worth it every single moment. Every single moment. That's what's all
Yes,
about.
I value your teachings. I do. I listen to your YouTube videos. I pause it if I have to go back just to, listen again what you
Sure,
said, and
sure,
to practice that because I am an observant person and I can tell. I try to evaluate a person,
mhm,
not by just looking at them and judging them, but we have situations where, you know, supervisors would tell you how erratic an individual might be behaving. But then again, you have to assess maybe this individual, there's a reason behind it. May
mhm.
not just jump to disciplining that person, but that person may be doing whatever they're doing. It's a cry for
Sure,
help.
sure,
You
yeah.
understand?
Well
So we've
said.
had situations recently like that, but I am trying to help that other individual too.
Yeah,
So, you know,
yeah, yeah. That's what leadership is, though. It's about helping people and then even recognizing, excuse me, just like you stated, when there's something wrong, and oftentimes, as you can know, there's something deeper. And if we get to the root cause, we can massively affect that person for the entire day, not just for that one little small moment, right? Hey, change your behavior in this moment. That's what we think sometimes. But it may be something that's more profound that we can touch as leaders and guiding them that can radically change the entire day, change the entire week. I mean, and I've seen it happen even within myself when someone talked to me that way. That was very, very appropriate for the time. I recall one time I lost $1 million in this one spreadsheet that I was presenting to these higher ups, and I was very, very young. And my boss's boss came down. He was one of the guys that was presented to, and he told me in the meeting, you know, you lost $1 million somewhere, son. And he was a big burly guy. But he made it all worth it. And I was very embarrassed and everything else, but he made it so worth it. He came from downstairs, came to where we were and said, hey, great job. Despite $1 million, come back and present it to me next week. That one moment radically changed how I saw people and leaders. I'll never forget the guy's name, John Red. Never forget the way he looked. I always remember it. And I was, what, 20 years old, 30 years ago, 3 decades ago. I still remember that moment. Still.
Yeah.
Right?
I know. I in the past, well, just recently, when you hear a lot of negativity, especially directed at yourself, me, for one, I would act on my emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, what I've done, I did act emotionally, but then I sat and I had a thought process. I think for a very long time.
Okay.
For a few days, I think and I think and I think, and I'm like, you know what? I assessed myself. I said, here what? You hear something negative, you don't like it. But
Right.
instead of just retaliating, maybe you should sit, listen to what is being said or read what is being said, assess yourself. Are you doing this? Even if you're not, see how you can better yourself to show that, you know, what you're doing, you value it.
Sure.
Sorry.
Sure.
Yes. What you're doing, you value your job. So instead of being emotional and acting on your emotion, maybe you should sit down, analyze the situation, analyze what is being said, and see if you can take corrective measures so that you got what it takes. And as a leader, I think it's good that if we accept some negativity and act rationally than irrationally, you know, I am training myself to do that. Overall, I was just saying that I think things I think now with a more positive, in a more positive light, instead of just consuming negativity.
Well, that comes with the definite emotional maturity. And I mean, those are the definite signs that you can compartmentalize the immediate reaction, emotional reaction, deal with it in silence and rationally think through it, and then come up with a solution to execute later on. That's definitely emotional maturity there. And it's not easy getting that. There are people that I coach that are still older than me that are still struggling with that portion of it. It takes a while.
True. Yeah. But like you said, signs of maturity, it's time we get past that.
Yes. Time we get past that. Absolutely. Well stated. That's good.